my name is Shelby Bonnie, and I'm the host of the Innovator Series brought to you by Technology for Obama. And I'm here with Deepak Kamra, who is a partner at Canaan Partners. Pleasure to be with you.
Thank you. Great to be here.
You were saying a minute ago about the number of companies your firm will look at, close to 4,000 every year to fund 30. I'm curious, I mean, it seems right now that there's a big premium on kind of innovation in terms of the market's willingness to pay for innovation. When you go looking for companies, how do you gauge whether a certain group of entrepreneurs can be innovative among that almost 4,000 you see versus ones that can't?
Not so easy. I mean, that's probably the toughest part of our job, is to figure out who are the right people. Because markets you can get an idea for. I mean, if you're investing in something on the internet, for example, DoubleClick. Okay, it was a new market, internet advertising, but you got a sense that it was going to be big. So why was DoubleClick the right reason? In the end, it's really a question of all the things we've learned through our careers when we're evaluating people. Do they have the ability to motivate other people? I think that's one of the key things. To attract other people, motivate them, and keep them occupied through all the ups and downs of a startup. Lots of ups and downs. So that's really tough to gauge, and it really comes down to personal kind of evaluation. And I'd have to say it's probably, our hit rate is probably 50-50 on people.
Which is good.
Yeah, I think so. But,
yeah.
I mean, if you 50-50 in any other business is terrible. But
And so for one of those 30 that you fund, how much time will you spend with the entrepreneurs before you make that decision? And will they meet with all of your partners?
Yes, we have a process where we get to know them. We get, if we have time. Now, venture capital is a very competitive business.
So sometimes
you've got 1 week to decide, and there's 5 competing offers, and sometimes you have months to decide and get to know the person. Obviously, we prefer it if there's time to get to know the person and get to know what they're like as a human being, because ultimately, it's easy to make a 2-hour pitch. You don't really get to see how the person is in that. So we like to, let's go out for dinner, let's go out for drinks, let's go, go do something together and get to know each other a little better. But yeah, they get to meet all the partners, but generally it's a presentation.
And one of the mythologies in the Valley is this notion of kind of the founder CEO. And when you look at the Jeff Bezos of the world and all these people who've gone on and are still there and still running the company, do you, when you're funding a company, so you're funding one of those 30, do you look at the CEO and say, that person is likely to be there, I'm making a 10-year decision? Or are you saying he can get us to from point A to point B, and then we'll see and potentially replace him?
Well, yeah. I mean, sometimes we end up replacing the founder. But no way we ever want to get into a deal knowing that this is not the guy, right? Every company we invest in, we hope and pray this is the guy that's going to take us all the way, because it's pretty disruptive to bring in somebody new. You can lose 6 months, you can lose a year in terms of the turmoil that a company can go through, especially if it's not a friendly turnover. In a lot of cases, the entrepreneur will say to us, hey, I know I'm the right guy for the next 3 years, but then I have no interest in running a big company, or I have no interest in running a public company. So you have a task ahead of you. But you don't want to go in thinking you have the right guy and then finding out you don't. I mean, that's not something anybody wants from a board point of view.
Yeah, and one of I've heard a lot of panels where people have talked about the real innovators being these founder CEO types, which again, Steve Jobs, Bezos, and people like that. Do you think that is that myth, or is there truth to that?
Okay, so it's a tough question. There's certainly a lot of survivor bias, right?
Yeah.
Because the guys you're talking to are the guys that survived as founder CEOs and did really well. The ones that didn't are not there to take the interviews. And so it's very hard to say, but clearly there's some guys that are super at it, and you don't want to replace those guys if you don't have to.
Yeah.
If they can also have the great innovation idea and manage and grow a large company, I mean, that's fantastic. It's just a set of skills that are very, very hard to find.
Yeah,
Jeff Bezos, even Steve Jobs, great innovator, not necessarily great person as a human being, but he managed to motivate people and get things done.
Yeah.
So,
well, very interesting. I look forward to talking more to you about those topics. Thank you.
Yeah.